You see my computer?
Yes, it starts showing. Yes, we can see the
Okay,
slideshow.
good. The lights too bright, I can't see. Here is in the morning, 10 o'clock. So it's nice to have you all come back. We have been in this training discussion for a while. And we have been discussing a lot of basic stuff and specific topics too. And a lot of time we answer any questions you have if you want to solve the problem. And this way, we actually not just give you lectures, just the brainwash, but actually help farmers, help distributors to actually know how to scientifically do the farming. Most important, for this group, we talk about fertilizer. So the Nutriplant Organic Plus fertilizer, this is you all use or you share with your farmers. And that can help people on the farmers get a much better production and the quality. One of the science foundation of the fertilizer is this science. You call it essential elements for plant growth, for the law of the minimum. The yield of your crop actually is proportional to the loss, the minimum. If you see this bucket, it's called bucket theory. You have all kinds of nutrients. If only the lowest one, if too low, and the plants will not get enough to complete their physiological or all these biochemistry reactions. So this way, they will not get a yield. If you increase this, then you will buy yield. So your yield is proportional to the lost amount of nutrients you have. We know the fertilizer have several big categories. Have largest amount and the medium amount and the trace elements and amount. So NPK, nitrogen, potassium, phosphate, they are the big, large amount of the plants they need. Anything low, they will have impact on the yield. So this is the basic foundation of why we need to give the fertilizer or nutrients to plants. And actually, how much fertilizer you use, you can increase your yield by 40 to 60%, or sometimes even more. Right now, we have been in last industry for maybe last 70, 80 years. A lot of places like US, like China, have been using fertilizer so much, and it actually increased the yield significantly. On the developing countries, they still have a lot of room to put to increase the yield. So fertilizer in general sense, we have a huge market, have potential there. It doesn't matter what kind of fertilizer you're talking about. You have a lot of potential. You have a lot of market. If you are in the field of the selling or distributing or manufacture anything related to the fertilizer in the doesn't matter is in the developing countries or developed countries, you have so much potential. You can help people, help farmers. In the end, you help yourself. You can be rich by helping other people. So this is actually the old picture. You see the market growth rate in the Africa region is still low. Why? Now we have Dr. Li was talking about we maybe get some fertilizer manufacture or do something in Africa. This is very much easy to help local agriculture instead of transport of this fertilizer from other parts of the world. So fertilizer type, how many types of fertilizer we have? You have conventional fertilizer, like you can buy from the Home Depot or any contractor or any agriculture depot or store. They are basically the nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, the NPK with different ratios. Sometimes you average maybe 10-10-10, 15-15-15, or 40-0-0 or 40-10-10. All the fertilizer you buy from the market, they have 3 labels on the label of the package. From NPK, the numbers you are showing how much percentage of fertilizer in your package. If 10-10-10, which means you have 10% nitrogen, 10% of phosphorus, 10% of the potassium. This is called generic use. If you don't know how to use fertilizer, you buy that. If you know how to use fertilizer, then you buy different ratio of your fertilizer. Sometimes you need nitrogen only. Sometimes you need a high P and K. So it all depends on your situation. You need to understand your crop, you understand your soil, understand your timing, then you buy what you need. And organic fertilizer, you have, in a general sense, if anything with the carbon, with the organic, it will be called organic fertilizer, but our fertilizer is the sense of you produce organically, is not by the manufacturer organic animal or plant material to produce our fertilizer. So our fertilizer is totally organic fertilizer, and also other organic fertilizer like compost, animal manure. These are all the organic fertilizers. For the organic farming, this is a change. In the future, we will have to go by organic farming. We had organic farming for several thousand years. We didn't have conventional or chemical fertilizer. In the name, by define what's your organic farming, in US, we have something, this category we have the standard here. The most important is something you have to be clean. So no prohibited substances. You will backtrack your farm for 3 years. You didn't have any chemical contamination on your farm, or you never used in the last 3 years. But sometimes actually your field, you get contaminated, you may need to take 30, 40 years to clean it up. So this is a very tough standard. That's why you buy organic vegetables in the store. You are much expensive. If you qualify organic farming, then you will get a much bad economic sense. So this is what they use. You have to be everything organic, but it have some synthesized like bolic acid. Like bolic acid is actually is a chemical, but it's they think like when we do the plants flooding time, we need bolic acid. Actually, bolic acid is also pesticides, can be used as pesticides in a household. If you got a cockroach, you've got ants, you've got something in your kitchen, or even flea or ticks, something housing pests, you can use bolic acid. But people, when you consult this, people, they will not tell you. This is what I tell you. This is very easy to use to control your house cockroach stuff. You just put a bolic acid. This bolic acid in the tray around your house. The insects move onto it, and they take this bolic acid to home. Eventually, you can remove your cockroach stuff. Take a long time, maybe take 1 month or 2 months. So, but it's like even sometimes you have bed bugs. In New Jersey, in New York area, we had bed bugs last 10 years. A lot in the senior centers have a lot of bed bugs. It's very hard to control. So pest control company make a lot of money. They come in spray every week. A lot of toxic. Actually, the easy way is to use bolic acid. They will not tell you, but you can do it. If anyone has any pests around their house, you can use bolic acid. So this is a conventional fertilizer problem. We call it synthetic fertilizers. They have a problem mostly because we use too much in the soil. The soil is not happening in Africa. It's happening in US, it's happening in China. We have been using chemical fertilizer for 30, 40, 50 years. The plants can only use maybe 10, 20, or 30% maximum of the fertilizer you put in the soil. And a lot of times these fertilizers stay in the soil or wash it away. It's like nitrogen. They can be washed away to the groundwater. And in the air, they said in the air we can have about 70% of the nitrogen in the air. All this stuff, where are they coming from? They're coming from the civilization, industry, including high nitrogen. And it will be very difficult to control. And it's even we have so much nitrogen in the air, but plants cannot use. Have some plants can use this and can fix nitrogen with the symbiotic bacteria. And in like soybean roots, they have soybean roots, they have bacteria in the roots, they can fix nitrogen. But most plants, they have limited, maybe almost no fixing ability. to get this nitrogen. When you use too much fertilizer, this fertilizer, NPK, basically is, we say contains salts. Actually, they are salts. When you put in the soil become more solidified, like cement. You know, the water will be not easy to move up and down. The soil become very hard. The organic material will be getting less because the high concentration of the salt. And it's kind of like a bad cycle. You add more conventional fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, you actually reduce the plants can use the fertilizer. So sometimes you could put 100% in, it only plants maybe only can use 10%. You lost them all. Because the soil becomes solid and the water can, when the raining time, the water cannot go deep into your soil. So water will be run away. And those with soluble nitrogen will be washed away and they wash it into your river or water body. Then we drink this water. So it becomes contaminants. Because the soil becomes so solid, and water, when it's raining, water cannot, because it's running away, it cannot stay in the soil. So after the raining, will be immediately you plant soil will need more water. So easy get flooding and easy get drought. When soil will be softer, when it's raining, the water goes into the soil, so it will be less likely to be flooded. When the raining stopped, the soil still has water in the reservation in the soil, so not easy to get dry. So when the soil organic material get enough, now that they are solid, and it will be less likely to get flooded or less likely to get too dry. So this is a lot of chemical fertilizer issue problem. We want to reduce chemical fertilizer, not totally. We still need them. If we are not registered as organic farming, you may still need to use some organic conventional fertilizer. We have to use the sense called scientific farming. We use organic fertilizer and conventional fertilizer and all the agricultural practice to combine them, to integrate them, to make it the best combination for your soil fertilizer. So a lot of time we can use this conventional fertilizer as the base. Before you planting, you add this conventional fertilizer in the soil. Then you till them to put it in, mixed with the soil as a foundation of the growing season. Then you spray as a fertilizer, the foliar fertilizer like NOPF during the growing season as the dressing, top dressing or side dressing. Combine them together. Not totally depends on the top dressing, not totally depends on the conventional fertilizer in the soil. Just combine them organically, integrate them as totally its approach is ecological sense, make them more effective, because we in the modern time we are dependent on the fertilizer too much, like we just said, we can be 40, 60% increase by the fertilizer. If we suddenly reduce, totally remove your conventional fertilizer, your yield may be dropped. And we have so much big population right now. We have to feed the population by high yield of agriculture. We cannot go back to the totally organic by our ancestors, just to use naturally farming. So we still need the fertilizer, conventional fertilizer, but we try to gradually reduce the amount of use, gradually add more organic fertilizer, like iron and OPF is totally organic fertilizer. So this is a way of thinking. We are not totally remove all the conventional fertilizer. We still need them, both of them in the base of the soil. Only the method for application of this conventional fertilizer should be, if before you planting, before the growing season, make sure you till them in. If you still do something side dressing, make sure you open the soil, put it in the soil, and cover it. If we don't cover it, you will lose a lot of fertilizer, especially for the nitrogen. It's water soluble, it will be evaporated, you will lose it. So this is a lot of bad things about the conventional fertilizer. We don't want to see that too much. This is for the biological organic fertilizer market, which show we have in Africa, we are still very low. So the law is not good because you have a low organic fertilizer. But it's good for you, for greenwood, because it's a law, you have the potential. You can go to the market because it's not other people put in. You are the only one, or you only one of the several. So you will get a much opportunity to get them, not to control the market, but you can use the market. So this is all the market in the future. A lot of potential. So our fertilizer, this is what we are fertilizer. We basically use all the organic animals source, dead animal, manure, animal manures, plant materials, whatever, all the naturally organic materials, plants or animals. Through the fermentation, this is two parts, actually two pictures combined together. So the top is, if you go to the second floor, you will see the top of the fermentation tank. And this is a tank, 30 cubic meter or little ones. After this fermentation by this chemical, not a chemical, it's a digestion system to reduce, to digest all these large molecular weight or molecular structures of plants, fibers, proteins, fat, sugars, everything, carbohydrates, break them down, make them all the tiny, tiny molecules. The most, what we harvest are amino acids. So then we can bottle them. So this is a whole procedure. We don't even know how do they do it, but we know what's input, what's output. We don't add anything here, just the fermentation. Then we have a naturally organic procedure to produce, get our fertilizer, all the naturally amino acids and some trace elements. So this is the standard. Because the natural production, you are targeted of 100 grams per liter, but sometimes you got 120, 125. This we can. It's not a chemical synthesis, not a chemical procedure. So every time is different. Like I'm a beekeeper. When you buy honey from a store, every bottle looks like same color, same concentration. But from my own honey, every time, every hive, the honey color, honey concentration, all different because it's all naturally, organic way. We cannot control them exactly. So you will see that, pay attention in your label. Some label you give you a little bit high, some you a little bit low. But because all the naturally, we know as long as you have more than 10% of amino acids, that's good deal for you. If it's more, it'll be better. And also have some trace elements. They are all very important. This one I have shown you for a while. It's just to see every batch of fertilizer should have a report. If you, every country, when you get this a batch of fertilizer NOPF, you should have something report. I'm not sure how do they operate, but they should have all the every batch should have a report. So these are all the basic fertilizers about NOPF. We need to use organic. We need to reduce conventional fertilizer. We need to combine conventional fertilizer, organic compost, organic fertilizer together, make it scientifically use fertilizer, scientifically farming. And then we have been also, we talk about a lot of specific topics in the past. You see, everything, almost every crops we have been discussed. So each crop is different. Each region, each location, each country is different. The key is we need to understand the soil. We need to understand the fertilizer. We need to understand your plants, and we need to use your knowledge to produce a best way how to use NOPF, how to use other organic material, how to combine with the NPK, make your yield high. And today we took, that was one time already a while, somebody asked, how do we use fertilizer on these Hawaiian nuts, or called macadamia? In US, we all call it the Hawaiian nuts because in US mostly they produce in Hawaii, and it was actually store you cannot sometimes buy. I only saw one time in Sam's Club they have this nut sale, and after that I never see it again. It's high demand. The production is just not enough for public. And when I was in Hawaii for a month, I worked for Hawaii for 5 weeks to help them for agriculture. And I actually went to the farm They have a huge, big farm. They produce all these Hawaiian nuts. In other countries, they don't call Hawaiian nuts. In Africa, you may call macadamia, or some place they call Queensland nuts. The basically depends on where you are. They originally come from Queensland, Australia. That's why they call it Queensland nuts. Tastes very good. I like it. A lot of nutrients. And they have all kinds of nutrients. I think all the nuts have all kinds of nutrients. I like all the nuts, and especially my snack. Is my favorite snack. I don't eat other snacks. I basically eat all kinds of nuts. So it's good for you. You see how many elements you have. You basically have all kinds of vitamins, minerals. You got enough for you for your need. Why we need to take vitamins? Why I need to take minerals from your food or your supplements? Why we need to take it by Greenwood nutritional supplements? Because we need the body, we need almost everything. You can get these nutritional supplements from your food, but you cannot get all the food from around the world. If you want some specific nutrients and your local land didn't have, your local food didn't have, then you have to go travel to other places to eat this food. But it's impossible for almost everybody. That's why we need to take actually nutritional supplements. This is the way we can get all the nutrients we need from these pills, from these capsules. Instead, save your time to travel, to buy food to everywhere. Even you buy food, you don't know how much you can get from each different food. So that's why the Greenwood nutrition supplements will be help you to cover what you need. This is the market. A lot of potential there. This is 2025, $1.5 billion for the internationally. They will increase about 10% every year. I just told you, from the same market, the store, we cannot buy macadamia seed, nuts. So somewhere need to produce more so people just can't get it. So it's a lot of potential there. If you are a farmer, if you are your clients, distributors, your farmers are producing macadamia nuts, congratulations. You have so much potential to sell to everywhere. Your market is just not enough for public. That's not how much you can produce, you can get it. This is how much we have. You see, this is a volume, it's a ton. It's 503,000 tons. That's a lot nuts. And a lot, you see the Africa, a lot of South Africa, we have bigger producer. This one you can see the circle. This is South Africa is the biggest. China is the biggest. We have one here. You can see South Africa consists about 29% of the nuts. This is for the future, for 25 years or 3 years later, will become 32% of the world. China is second largest. In Africa, Kenya is a huge too. So you see the top producers, except Australia, except China, all are in Africa, have a bigger market there. If we can help those farmers to know how to scientifically farming, how to use our fertilizer, how to use all this science knowledge to help them become better farmer. You help them rich, you help yourself too. So it's a lot of potential there. Well, this is I showed you many times if you are in this discussion group. But I add one thing. When we use fertilizer or anything, nutritional supplements, or chemical fertilizer, or chemical pesticides, these 4R principles are always important. You need to get a right source. You need to get a right rate. How much you put, you cannot just do whatever you want. The timing, location, place. Importantly, you need to think these three. You need to consider whole picture, environmental, economic, and social impacts, whatever you do. Under these three conditions, then you look at is for us. Will be more make it meaningful. You will not do something stupid. You want to help the society, help your farming. You don't just use everything. You get so expensive and it's not cost effective. So this the money, the one is one of the major target. Also for the environmental. So we want more safe, environmentally friendly. We don't want to damage your soil, damage your agriculture. We want sustainable, long-term agriculture. So this one, keep in mind, when you do the 4Rs, most important, you need to think about that. For the 4Rs, right source, which means like here, what do we use? We use conventional fertilizer or use organic fertilizer. If we use both, how much? What's the percentage? When use conventional, when use organic. For conventional or organic, which blend, what kind of fertilizer we want to use. This is all going to the right source. For the rate, for the concentration, if we conventional fertilizer, NPK, you need to understand each element, their chemical feature, chemical nature. Nitrogen is water soluble. P sometimes not. K sometimes yes, sometimes not. If you just close your eyes to use, and if you put in the soil, it didn't cover it, the nitrogen will be washed away or evaporated. You lost it. If you put phosphate, they are not water soluble a lot of time. When the plants need it, you put in, it's too late. You have to put it in the soil like one growing season early. You need to put in the soil, let a microorganism to help them make these nutrients available. Same thing as the K. You need to understand the chemistry of these elements, of these nutrients. Then you put the right amount into the soil, and also the right time, like same thing. The phosphate you need to put early. That's why we put a lot of phosphate fertilizer before we planting, right before the growing season, raining season. You know, next week start raining. You put the phosphate in the soil today. Then they soak it in the soil. They will not be washed away because they are not water soluble. But if you put nitrogen in the soil, the rainy season coming, they wash it away, and you lost. So there is a for when you talk to your farmers, when you talk to your distributors, sometimes you don't know. We never discussed. And how do you answer to help your farmers specific questions? You use these 4R principles. You understand our fertilizer. Our fertilizer organic amino acids based with the trace elements fertilizer, high nitrogen. So you think of it, this is foliar application, foliar liquid fertilizer. Is different from granule or powder or any other forms of fertilizer. You understand your fertilizer, and you understand your crop, understand everything, and you understand it's for us. Even you never learned this, you could give them general idea, general guidance how to use this fertilizer. So this is always keep in mind. Plus, you need to think about this. I made this slide this morning. I get up at 3 o'clock. I will talk about this all the time, but this still needs to be improved. Every time we have to think ecological, think as our ecology, think about our whole system. It's called a systematic approach. Our key player is plants or crops. Then we need a fertilizer. Then we need a soil. So we need to understand your soil. All kinds of different soil types. We will give you different approach, different guidelines. If you have sandy soil, sandy loam, clay, or some different type of soil, totally give you different idea. We are blueberry. Blueberry is big for greenwood. And in New Jersey, we are here is the world center of the blueberry research here. Maybe it's only blueberry research station in US. I think maybe in the whole world. Rocks University I used to work with, and my co-workers still there, and they are the best, top quality, top professors studying blueberry. The most important is soil. Why we have blueberry research station in New Jersey? Because we have the best soil for blueberry. Blueberry like sandy loam soil. They like pH 4.5, around 5, less than 5, 3.8, 3.5 to 4.5 pH. If we pH high, it's totally against our common sense. We always think all the crops need a pH equal to 6 to 7, neutral. We don't want a pH high. We don't want a pH low. We don't want acidic plant soil. This is all we talk about. But blueberry is different. They're unique. They like a little bit poor soil. They like acidic soil. If it's too organic soils, maybe not the best. They like sandy loam soil. They like poor pH a little bit lower. if your pH higher than 5, your soil is not good for blueberry. So if people can ask, can I grow blueberry in my backyard or on my farm? Yes. I have about 24, 25 plants blueberry in my backyard. Had four plants in the buckets, in the soil. Around 20 plants in the buckets. I still don't have a place to put it. I'm going to move them to my farm. I have a farm, and it's like 40 minutes drive away from my house. So I don't go over there too much because I'm so busy. After I retire, maybe I will move over there. Then Dr. Li, she was my classmate. She is going to live close to my farm too. So we can grow blueberry together. And for soil, if your soil pH too high, you actually need to add some sulfur to the soil to reduce your pH. And in your organic profile, if we soil, when we all other crops, we need a fertile, neutral pH level, rich organic material for almost all other crops. If not, we have to change, have to modify. So this is a thing we have to do first. So any agriculture, first thing you need to see your soil. Then you decide which kind of crop you are going to plant. For the plants, you need to know the plant's whole phenology. What time they start planting, in Africa, you have rainy season, dry season. In my hometown, China, Nanjing, we have 4 seasons. We have hot summer, have nice spring, and fall time. So we have 4 seasons. In New York, I'm living here. It also have 4 seasons. So it's all different. You have to understand your total phenology. You understand your plant physiology. You think agriculture is easy now. Agriculture is need a lot of knowledge. So this also we need to understand what you are going to harvest. You harvest the leaves, or you harvest the fruits, or harvest your seeds, or you want to harvest the flower. Totally, your objective determine what you do. It's different. Then if it's different, then you would use different approach. And the fertilizer. We just talk about a lot of fertilizer. Actually, for all the agriculture crops, the fertilizer, in addition to your soil plants, next thing you decide you have to do is your fertilizer and the pest control. You water is number one, second is the fertilizer. If you just do this, you have a lot of insects, a lot of diseases. Your dream will be gone. You have to think about it. So after you settling of the farming, next thing you need to think is, okay, now I need to do is, how do I water them? How do I fertilize them? If you just do this, you're still not good. One of my big crop in my backyard is Chinese okra. It's in Chinese we call it 丝瓜. In English we call it Chinese okra. And we have long fruits every year. One of the pests, insect pests, called leaf foot bugs, is in the family of the Coridae, of the order of the Hemiptera. They are piercing most parts. When the little fruits come out, they sting it. after thinning, the fruit started defense mechanism. All localized become black, solid. We want this Chinese localized soft, but they can become solid, totally lost. So the pests is a big issue. A lot of diseases, a lot of plant diseases, you have to know. If you don't know, you go bad, you will lose. One of my relatives, they have a very nice ornamental plants. He tell me, he said, I have a disease on my plants. I spray the fungicide every year, never worked. And there Christmas time dinner, so I said, let me look at it. I said, no, they are not diseases. They are scale insects. They are looks like diseases, but they are not diseases. They are insects. So I told them how to use total control. The most important for the pests, insects or diseases is diagnostic. Like a human, you have so many different drugs in the drugstore. You just don't know how to use it. You don't know what to buy. That's why you need a doctor. Doctor tell you what to buy, what are your diseases, what are your problems. We agriculture specialists, we are agriculture plant doctors. We are do the same work as your family physician. We diagnose, look at your plants, look at your soil, look at your stuff, and I tell you these plants need what? Need plants need what kind of fertilizer? The plants need what kind of nutrients? The plants need what kind of insecticides? The plants need what kind of fungicides? Do you need to spray insecticides when you see the insects? So we are the doctors of plants, same as doctors of a human. We study the same material except each subject. But before first 2 years, we study the same thing. So we always need to think about the whole thing together for entire system. And for macadamia, for the Hawaiian nuts or Queensland nuts, if we use NOPF, this is all the good parts, can help you reach high yield, high quality, improve your plant physiology, improve a lot of stuff here for the tree. So NOPF, you understand your system, then you will think, okay, now I need to use some NPK, conventional fertilizer, as the base for the soil, and I need to spray NOPF for the plants in the canopy. These are so important. They give you so much benefits. These are all these. So much detail. We can talk a lot for every thing, but you can see nutrients, yield, quality, plant physiology, stress resistance. That's important because they help you work stronger. Like Chinese medicine. Sometimes I feel like a weak. When you go to the Western doctor, they don't have pill for you. You don't have nothing. Or you go to Chinese doctor, say, let's take some Chinese herbs, are organic and actually you can build your immune system and help you. The Chinese medicine is treated to improve your body. When you help your whole system, you make you stronger. And OPF is the same kind of thing. They make your plants stronger. to fight back all these stresses. Even insects, when you insect or diseases, when they get attack, their body is stronger. They can fight them back. You can think NOPF or fertilizer like Chinese medicine. I think in the most developing countries, people still believe conventional or my conventional is our traditional medicine. It's like Chinese medicine herbs. It's very effective, very useful. So all these benefits we have. Now we need to understand the phenology. You have to understand your phenology before you. This is the phenology of your macadamia. For all these, let me see, other one, baby, this one. This is totally different from my hair. From this, we can use this 4 times NOPF. Before the rainy season, you can start put something in the soil for NPK. Then at the time, for pre-flowering season, here, between June and August, we get a one-time spray of the NOPF. And from September to October in here, this is start to help your nuts development. This time they need a lot of nutrients. If you can combine something like I say, add something supplemental in addition to, not necessarily to combine them in the spray, but you need to think about it, to add something for the fruits, for the developing of the nut will help too. And last thing, after you harvest, you need to spray. You need to give it the nutrients. Like the mother, after you give the birth, this is the time she needs so much nutrients. She was so totally lost. The body, so weak. After they give the birth, all the nuts here, the entire whole growing season, now it's time to give them something recovery, give you something more nutrients after your harvest. Same thing applies for other multi-year woody plants, woody crops too. After your harvest, like tea, like something coffee, after the harvest, you should give them a strong boost, give them fertilizers, let them recover. If your tree is need to pruning, do this, spray your fertilizer after your pruning. You don't want to spray and pruning because you are wasting. You do this after you cutting everything. Like if we do ornamental plants, if the whole growing season is ending, you trim off, you cut all these things out like an azalea. After flowering, it started to cuttings, and you cut all this extra stuff. Then you spray. Every drop of your fertilizer be used by plants. So most important here, we need to understand your phenology, understand your rainy season stuff. Then you do your work. But you don't need too much. If you too much, a lot of fruiting trees, you spray too much nitrogen. Plants will think, oh, I still need to grow a lot of leaves. So I'm not going to grow flower, not going to nuts. So you have to be careful, have to be balanced, not overdue. So concentration, you don't want to get too high concentration. You can use 1 to 1 to 1,000 ratio. It's moderate. It's not too much. If it's too high, you lost it. And also, you have the potential for leaf burn if you spray other stuff. For NOPF, you don't have leaf burning here. To avoid leaf burning is for other stuff. We should remove that. If some people said, oh, after I sprayed my NOPF, my leaf got burned. No, it's not from NOPF. If you got a leaf burning, it's not from NOPF, it's from something else. And if you spray by your hand, not from the helicopter or something big ones, if you try to spray on the back of the leaf, not from the top. Well, I have a lot to. Well, this is some pests we need. That's why I said in the earlier, when you have the soil ready, when you have the plants ready, crop ready, next thing you need to think about the fertilizer and the pest control and the water. The whole growing season is about fertilizer, water, insect diseases. You cannot avoid anything. You have to see these 4 things all the time. See, this is the one for the pests, insects. It's another thing. All these things is they have sharp needle to stink in the leaf or the nuts and make your fruits going bad. It's not chewing insects, they are stinging insects. These guys, the toxicity is very bad. And they can go to the inside the fruits, and this is damage your fruits. This is something scales. We can talk about it when next time. Details. How do we do this? This it looks like a disease. This is not. They are not disease. These are the insects. When they get hatched from egg, they stay their whole life. They never move again. It looks like a steel. Looks like diseases. No. So then you have all kind of diseases. This is fungi. So it's the thing is every crop, you think we are agriculture doctors. We are helping them to do scientific farming. We give the guidelines for how to fertilize, how to water, how to control the insects, how to control the plant diseases. It's totally IPM, integrated pest management or integrated anything agriculture approach. You use a systematic way to help your farm. So this was a question I was asked. Actually, I spent a long time to read this because I never grew macadamia, but I was on the farm for the macadamia in Hawaii for a while, so I love it. I like eat it, but it's not easy to crop. It's one thing is you don't over fertilize for this crop. If the leaf, you always test your soil. You watch your plants leaf color. You think you need something different color, different nutrients. You can tell from the leaf color. We talked about this before. By how do you identify nutritional deficiency based on the leaf? So this is actually one question I tried to answer for a while. So this is an answer for one more question. And if you have, next time we can answer other question. If do you have any questions? We don't have time to ask today, but I can ask next time. I'm going to write down.
So thank you very much, Professor. Thank you. We got two questions for this session. So Professor is going to do more research for the plant, how to plant the macadamia nuts, and is it okay to start using an OPF on flowering cocoa? Thank you so much. Next Friday, please, stay tuned. Next Saturday, we still have the training, but by one of the young ladies I just introduced to you, who's going to present the basic knowledge and information to you. And Professor Jason Zhang is going to answer the advanced questions and give you the more cutting edge information and knowledge. So thank you, Professor. When are we looking forward to your next training session? When will be the next training section by
Okay,
you?
you said you have
The next,
where is I can't see no, I mean I can't see the chatting. Where is the question? What the questions I need to
I
answer
took
next time?
I took the questions already. It doesn't matter. I'll send it to you. I'll send them to you.
Okay, okay,
Uh,
okay,
are we going to enjoy your training after 2 weeks? I mean, 15th. Let's see, 15th November.
okay.
Okay, so 15th November, uh, Professor John is going to be back for off Zoom meeting, and then you're going to enjoy the basic training by one of the young presenters next Saturday. So stay tuned, and we see you next Saturday. Thank you so much for being with us. We see you. So you can mute yourself and see.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
and good night to Professor.
Yeah, if you turn on the camera on, I can see you.
Yeah. So please, you can unmute yourself and say thank you and good night. Actually, good day to Professor. Hi, Madam Melinda. How are you? Nice to see you again. Okay, thank you,
I'm
Professor.
very well, thank you. Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you. Yes, it was,
Professor. Thank
thank
you.
you. And I was the one asking the questions on the macadamia nuts, so this is very informative, and I
Thank
appreciate it
you.
very much. Thank you.
Great. Glad
Thank you.
you're here today.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much. Enjoy your
Okay, have a
weekend.
good weekend.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. See you next Saturday. Thank you so much.